I've had nothing to do with
Are you
leadership.
supportive of these onesies?
I'm supportive of vaccines.
Are you supportive of this clothing, which is
Like, hey, Junior. Hey, can I call you Junior? Answer the question. It is really simple. How? I mean, the American people can't be that stupid.
I'll comply with all the ethical guidelines.
That's not the question. You have said
You're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're doing.
No. Look, no one should be fooled here. As Secretary of HHS, Robert Kennedy will have the...
She said no one should be fooled here because she knows, hey, this tap dancing, this beating around the bush, not answering the questions, hey, that's a red flag right there. Foul on the play, do not pass go, do not collect $200 for you. So when it comes to these confirmation hearings, once again, I've seen a nice handful of them, probably such as yourself. They can be a bit spectacle. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it feels like they're all about the show, just trying to get the clicks, just trying to get that viral moment to get their 15 minutes of fame. Yes, I know Republicans are experts at doing that. And when it comes to Democrats, yes, they can be spectacle when it comes to something as important as this. And of course, it has its purpose. You know, it's not just some, grandiose show where they just let people just watch it just so they can have their 15 minutes of fame. It's a purpose behind it. And when you have individuals like we're about to see Bernie Sanders and Elisabeth Warren, when they take the opportunity to do what this hearing is supposed to do, then you can kind of start to see the cracks in people that are wanting to get these positions. And what this is built to do is keep these kind of people like RFK Jr. out of government. That's simple. So just real quick, just in case, hey, I don't know who's watching, but if you don't know the purpose of a Senate hearing or a confirmation hearing, it is important that you know the purpose of a thing. And then you can say, oh, I see why they're doing this. I see why they're asking these questions. Don't be like Stephen A. Smith complaining about some things and they have no idea what it's there for. Hey, don't be stupid, okay? A Senate confirmation hearings are a critical part of the U.S. government system of checks and balances. These hearings are conducted primarily by the Senate committees to evaluate and approve presidential nominees for key government positions. And some of these questions that is supposed to, once again, minus the spectacle part of it, assessing qualifications, evaluate policy stance, investigate ethical concerns, ensure accountability and public transparency. To me, that's probably the last part, because once again, these positions that any president, and currently Trump, is trying to get these individuals in these very important positions, and we need to know who, we need to know their track record, we need to have them as transparent as possible so we can kind of see a little bit within the future, like, oh, he's trying to put A, B, and C in these positions because of X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? So it's really important. I know it can be boring, and I'm pretty sure a video like this is going to get a few hundred views, but it's important to know the key players. So when shit hits the fan, you watching can be informed on what kind of shit is hitting the fan and how to dodge it. 99% of the people who are not paying attention to things like this are going to be caught with their pants down asking why. Don't be that person. But when it comes to these type of hearings, these confirmation hearings, Alexander Hamilton, yes, we're going way back. He said, because I love my quotes, he said, it will be the office of the Senate to prevent the appointment of unfit characters, from family connections, there you go, from personal attachment, or from a view to popularity. And that's in the Federalist Papers number 76. Once again, this understanding has been implemented way before our time for a reason. Now, when it comes to RFK Jr., once again, if you don't know who he is, I will put you on game just real briefly. RFK Jr. has built a reputation for spreading conspiracy theories, obviously, particularly about vaccines, COVID-19, and government institutions. This has alienated mainstream voters across the political spectrum. He has falsely linked vaccines to autism and other health issues, leading to criticism from medical professionals and public health organizations. Once again, RFK Jr. is not a scientist, not even to any stretch of the imagination. So, once again, I know you can 100% any professional or any health organizations, but I would rather take their word than from someone who's not even in that area. You see what I'm saying? He has spread false claims about the pandemic, including suggesting that Bill Gates and Anthony Fauci were a part of a global control effort. I mean, it's kind of weird how we keep hearing about Bill Gates, but not Elon Musk. I mean, yes, that Elon. I don't. Once again, it's just kind of inconsistent. He has changed stance on issues like climate change. Originally a strong environmentalist, but now aligned himself with fossil fuel interests. Yes, all about that money. He markets himself as a free thinker, but has failed to clearly define where he stands on major issues like abortion, healthcare, and economic policies. So, once again, when you have a character like this, we need character in the Senate, which once again, how people are voting these individuals in, that's a whole nother conversation. But it is a few people like Elisabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and a handful of other people that will hold individuals like RFK Jr. accountable. And that's what we're going to be blessed with. So let's take a listen.
Mr. Kennedy, thanks for being with us. I very much like the slogan that you coined, Make America Healthy Again. And I strongly agree with that effort. Despite spending, as you indicated, 2 or 3 times as much per capita on healthcare as other nations, we have 85 million people who are uninsured, underinsured. We have all kinds of chronic illnesses. Our life expectancy is lower than other countries. And for working class people in this country, they are living 6, 7 years shorter lives than the top 1%. We got a problem. Okay, and I'm going to suggest some ideas that I think can remedy that. Last year, the insurance industry in this country made over $70 billion, while at the same time, 85 million Americans are uninsured or underinsured. Do you agree with me that the United States should join every other major country on earth and guarantee health care to all people as a human right? Yes? No?
Now, yes, in reality, when it comes to understanding the facts that Bernie Sanders has laid out, and we know Bernie Sanders knows his stuff when it comes to healthcare being a human right, like it should be to any rational human being to just say, yeah. I mean, this healthcare system accumulating 70 billion, not 70 million, $70 billion in profit. I mean, something's wrong with that. And if you are going to be ahead of these organizations, these institutions, then why are you in this? Why are you trying to get in this? And that's what he's trying to pull out of RFK Jr. But of course, not everybody has a spine. Not everyone's built like that to just answer these questions and keep it pushing. So let's go ahead and hear the non-answer.
Senator, I would say. Senator, I can't give you a yes or no answer to that question.
Healthcare a human right? Is healthcare a human right?
In the way that free speech is a human right,
Yeah.
I would say it's different because if with free speech doesn't cost anybody anything, but in healthcare, if you smoke cigarettes for 20 years and you get cancer, you are now taking from the pool.
Well,
and so are you guaranteed the same right, or is there also a duty?
I'm sorry. I'd love to talk for an hour with you. We got...
And yes, I would love to hear Bernie Sanders just grill that stupid question once again. Okay, people who smoke cigarettes, guess what? They are still Americans. I mean, what else is on the list? Because I'm pretty sure there's people in my comments who can tell you, well, 80% of people eat unhealthy. They eat sugary this and sugary that and gluten this and gluten that. So how far does this list go to say, oh, okay, now you are worthy of health care? Once again, that's a slippery slope. And trust me, I'm someone who loves to go down slippery slopes because sometimes it's necessary. But this right here is like, okay, you're saying that people who smoke, which is probably a large portion of Americans, I don't have the facts in front of me, let me know in the comments, but there's other things that can harm you physically, nutritionally, if that's a word, just anything that you consume into your body. So how far does that go? So, hey, RFK, it's either you're with it or you're against it. And I would want someone who's in that position who's fully for Americans and implement some measures to people who do smoke. I mean, do what you need to do, but don't sit here and say, oh, these people don't deserve it. I mean, come on, you gotta be smarter than a fifth grader sometimes. I'm just saying.
A few minutes left here. All right. Every other country on earth says healthcare, whether you're poor or rich, young or old, is a human right. I'm not hearing you say that. All right, you've talked about the drug companies, and maybe we agree on this one. As you all know, despite the drug companies making over $100 billion in profits, paying CEOs outrageous compensation packages, we in some cases pay 10 times more for the same drug. Will you support legislation that I will introduce which says that in America we should not be paying a nickel more for prescription drugs than people around the rest of the world? Yes, no?
Once again, I mean, you can just, holy shit. I mean, it's a real simple answer. If you are truly for the American people, do you agree that Americans should not pay not even a nickel? He said a nickel. I mean, Bernie Sanders said, I'm saying a penny, because sometimes, hey, 4 pennies is a little too much. But if you're truly for the people, this will be a no-brainer answer. Well, of course not. Hey, draft up this bill today, bro, and I'm signing that thing. That's simple. But no, you know what I'm saying? Technically, kind of, sort of, but really, technically, when you refer to a dime, are you talking about the actual money dime, or are you talking about a baddie dime? You know, it's like you see how they try to splice these hairs all of a sudden. They can, cut atoms in half, but when it comes to answering yes and no questions, it's the hardest thing for them to do.
To equalize it?
Not to equalize it, that we should not be paying more than other countries for the same damn drug.
President Trump has asked me, in fact, I had a meeting with President Trump a week ago where we showed him the charts.
He knows the charts.
We're paying 10 times more from Europe.
That's right. And are you going to commit to us that you will end that absurdity?
I think in principle we can. We should end that.
I'm not gonna mimic his voice. That'd be a little too disrespectful. But he said, I mean, in principle, I mean, hypothetically, in a whole nother multiverse, okay, like where the sky is orange and the sea is purple, like I can kind of see that. Hey, we just need a yes or no answer. Hey, no. I mean, no. Why? Why and then no. Whatever you're thinking, why and then no.
That disparity.
Good. Okay. That's great. All right. I happen to believe that climate change is real, it's an existential threat, and it is a healthcare issue. Donald Trump thinks that it is a hoax originating in China. Question is, in your judgment, is climate change a hoax or is it real, causing devastating problems?
President Trump and I, from the beginning, from our first meeting, agreed to disagree on that issue. I believe climate change is existential. My job is to make Americans healthy again.
All right, you believe that you think that you disagree with Trump, you don't think climate change is a hoax, is what I'm hearing.
My job here is to make
I'm just asking you that,
Americans
Mr. Kennedy, not a trick question.
I answered your question, Senator Sanders.
Okay, you disagree with the president on that.
I answered your question.
Okay. I'm going to...
Hey, I mean, maybe they should create like a questionnaire. Just circle, fill in this circle for yes, fill in this circle for no. Don't leave no lines to explain your answer. None of that. I mean, maybe it's just me. I'm just a real straightforward, cut to the chase. Just give me a yes or no answer, and then we can kind of break it down from there. But man, I would be so furious at these idiots not answering my question. But let's continue.
To pick up on a point that Senator Hassan made. Look, there is no question that abortion is a divisive issue in this country. I would say a majority of the people are pro-choice. There's a strong minority who are pro-life. A year and a half ago, you went to New Hampshire, running for president, gave a speech, and you talked about government should not tell a woman what she can do with her own body. That's her choice. Mm-hmm. Now, I think everybody on that side is pro-life. I think everybody here is pro-choice. I have never seen any major politician flip on that issue quite as quickly as you did when Trump asked you to become HHS secretary. Tell me why you think people should have confidence in your consistency and in your word when you really made a major U-turn on an issue of that importance in such a short time.
Now remember, he's being asked from an individual, Bernie Sanders, who is, in my opinion, okay, tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, the king of consistency. I mean, like, you know, we can nitpick on some things that we don't agree with when it comes to Bernie Sanders, but there is a common denominator decade after decade when it comes to Mr. Consistency over here. Mr. Bernie Consistency Sanders right there. But let's hear his answer. Come on now.
Senator, I believe, and I've always believed, that every abortion is a tragedy.
But you told the people of New Hampshire that it was their right. All right, let me do a last question because I'm running out of time. I think the gist of what you were trying to say today is you're really pro-vaccine, you want to ask questions. You have started a group called the Children's Health Defense. You're the originator. Right now, as I understand it, on their website, they are selling what's called onesies. These are little things, clothing for babies. One of them is titled Unvaxxed, Unafraid. Next one, and they're sold for $26 a piece, by the way.
Damn.
Next one is No Vax, No Problem. Now, you're coming before this committee and you say you're pro-vaccine. Just want to ask some questions. And yet your organization is making money selling a child's product to parents for $26, which casts fundamental doubt on the usefulness of vaccines. Can you tell us now that you will, now that you are pro-vaccine, that you're going to have your organization take these products off the market?
Senator, I have no power over that organization. I'm not part of it. I resigned from the board.
Yeah, that was just a few months ago. You founded that. You certainly have power. You can make that call. Are you supportive of this?
I've had nothing to do with
Are you
leadership.
supportive of these onesies?
I'm supportive of vaccines.
Are you supportive of this clothing, which is
Like, hey, Junior. Hey, can I call you Junior? Answer the question. It is really simple. How? I mean, the American people can't be that stupid. You're telling me verbally that you're pro-vax, but you're selling products that promote being non-vaxxed and being skeptical of being vaxxed, but you're saying you're pro-vax. I am pro-confused here. Answer the question. He giggling. Answer the question, man. Damn.
blatantly anti-vaccine?
I am supportive of vaccines. I will. I want good science, and I want to protect.
But you will
vaccines.
not tell the organization you founded not to continue selling that product. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Kennedy, I want
Hey, getting smoked, getting filleted, okay? I mean, like this, he almost burnt RFK Jr. there. But I say, at least in my opinion, the best for last. And then there was a lot of good, good questioning. But I think Elisabeth Warren, I mean, say what you want about her. I kind of back and forth when it comes to, my perspective of her. But this right here, oh man, she kind of turned that thing up. And I'm surprised he's still walking after this.
I want to start with something that I think you and I agree on, and that is that Big Pharma has too much power in Washington. You've said that President Trump asked you to, quote, clean up corruption and conflicts. Sounds great. You've said that you will, quote, slam shut the revolving door between government agencies and the companies they regulate. That also sounds great. So here's an easy question. Will you commit that when you leave this job, you will not accept compensation from a drug company, a medical device company, a hospital system, or a health insurer for at least 4 years, including as a lobbyist or a board member?
Can you just repeat the last part of the question? Can I commit
You're
to
not going
what?
to take money from drug companies in any way, shape, or form.
Who? Me?
Yes, you.
Hey, I mean, what are we doing? Hey, can you pay attention? Like, I mean, is the worm still in there? You, bro, damn. Like, can you repeat me? I mean, are you talking about like me as in myself or me as in my personality? No, bruh, you.
Oh. Yeah, I'm happy to commit to that.
Okay, good. That's what I figured. I said it's an easy question to start with. And I think you're right on this
I don't
question.
think any of them want to give me money, by the way.
Let's keep going. You're right because to say yes, because every American has the right to know that every decision you make as our number one health officer is to help them and not to make money for yourself in the future. So I want to talk more about money. I'm looking at your paperwork right now. In the past 2 years, you've raked in $2.5 million from a law firm called Wisner Baum. You go online, you do commercials to encourage people to sign up with Wisner Baum to join lawsuits against vaccine makers. And for everyone who signs up, you personally get paid. And if they win their case, you get 10% of what they win. So if you bring in somebody who gets $10 million, you walk away with $1 million. Now, you just said that you want the American people to know You can't be bought. Your decisions won't depend on how much money you could make in the future. You won't go to work for a drug company after you leave HHS. But you and I both know there's another way to make money. So, Mr. Kennedy, will you also agree that you won't take any compensation from any lawsuits against drug companies while you are secretary and for 4 years afterwards?
Well, I'll certainly commit to that while I'm secretary. But I do want to clarify something because you're making me sound like a shill. I put
You're the
together
one who
that
got-
case. I did the Science Day presentation to the judge on that case to get it into court, the
Mr.
Daubert
Kennedy,
hearing.
Mr. Kennedy, it's just a really simple question.
Yeah,
You've taken in 2.5.
Hey, come on, man. Damn, this is a layup, okay? This is not even a trick question. She's saying, hey, you have collected money from doing these commercials from this law firm, and when they sue institutions for vaccinations or whatever the case is, and if they win their lawsuit, they break you off some. So the question is, will you turn that down? Will you stop collecting money from these settlements against vaccinations while you're in this position? And I think she said 4 years after, just to make sure you're not going to try to, fix some things to your favor so you can kind of put some money in your pocket, because we know politicians are amazing at finding a way to make money on the side. Really simple answer, but it doesn't go that way.
$500 million. I want to know if you will commit right now that not only will you not go to work for drug companies, you won't go to work suing the drug companies and taking your rake out of that while you're a secretary and for 4 years after. It's just...
I'll commit to not taking any fees from drug companies while I'm secretary.
No. I'm asking about fees from suing drug companies. Will you agree not to do that?
You're asking me to not sue drug companies,
No,
and I'm not going to agree to that,
drug
Senator.
companies as much as you want.
I'm not going to agree to not sue drug companies or anybody.
So let's do a quick count here of how, as Secretary of HHS, if you get confirmed, you could influence every one of those lawsuits. Well, let me start the list. You could publish your anti-vaccine conspiracies, but this time on U.S. government letterhead, something a jury might be impressed by. You could appoint people
I don't
to the
understand
CDC vaccine panel who share your anti-vax views and let them do your dirty work. You could tell the CDC vaccine panel to remove a particular vaccine from the vaccine schedule. You could remove vaccines from special compensation programs, which would open up manufacturers to mass torts. You could make more injuries eligible for compensation, even if there is no causal evidence. You could change vaccine court processes to make it easier to bring junk lawsuits. You could turn over FDA data to your friends at the law firm, and they could use it however it benefited them. You could change vaccine labeling. You could change vaccine information rules. You could change which claims are compensated in the vaccine injury compensation program. There's a lot of ways that you can influence those future lawsuits and pending lawsuits while you are Secretary of HHS. And I'm asking you to commit right now that you will not take a financial stake in every one of those lawsuits, so that what you do as Secretary will also benefit you financially down the line.
Hey, and that's called right there having the receipts and making sure that we are keeping these individuals accountable. That is it right there. Oh, she did her homework, and that's what I love. Hey, let's not play stupid here. Miss Warren's been around the block a few times. She probably seen this happen time and time and time again. She's like, hey, I'm going to list the top ways you can abuse your power, abuse your position, and make millions of dollars. And that's not what this position is required. Hey, that's how you do it right there. And I'm wondering, I'm just hoping he's going to have a good answer for that.
I'll comply with all the ethical guidelines.
That's not the question. You and I, you have said
You're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're doing.
Health. Look, no one should be fooled here. His Secretary of HHS, Robert Kennedy, will have the...
She said no one should be fooled here because she knows, hey, this tap dancing, this beating around the bush, not answering the questions, hey, that's a red flag right there. Foul on the play. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200 for you. I'm sorry. Once again, if people cannot be honest in giving their reasoning on why they want to be in this position, because we all know money is the root of all evil. Okay, hey, there you go. And we know money corrupts politicians 9 times out of 10. If we don't want money in politics, we can't have people getting into these positions and figuring out some way to make money from their position. I mean, that's simple. We cannot be fooled. Oh, I love that. I love it.
The power to undercut vaccines and vaccine manufacturing across our country. And for all of his talk about follow the science and his promise that he won't interfere with those of us who want to vaccinate his kids, the bottom line is the same. Kennedy can kill off access to vaccines and make millions of dollars while he does it. Kids might die, but Robert Kennedy can keep cashing in.
Hey, bravo. Once again, you can say what you want about Elizabeth Warren. I know, hey, whatever. But you can't tell me that right there is what this entire hearing is supposed to be. And she nailed that on the head. Once again, I love that. And that's the whole point of these confirmation hearings, is to get it on record, ask the important questions, you know, when it comes to transparency. Hold on. Let's go back to the list. When it comes to assessing qualifications, evaluating policy stance, investigate ethical concerns, ensure accountability and public transparency. That is what needs to be done. Once again, you can show the posters, you can, raise your voice, but we need to have it on record. So later down in the future, when something pop off, we can say, hey, Mr. Kennedy, hey, what's going on, Junior? Can I call you Junior? Hey, you said you wasn't going to do A, B, and C. Now I see you doing A, B, and C. So what the X, Y, and Z is you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the whole purpose of this thing. And, once again, I know it's not sexy, it's not fun to watch these hearings. Trust me, it is not. But it's important that we listen, pay attention, and we are aware of what's going on. Because it's going to be these people who's going to be making these policy decisions that affect millions of people. You and me. Hey, not other people. Me and you directly. So, once again, guys, if you agree or disagree with anything I said in this video, let me know in the comments down below, or hit that Discord button so me and you can have that one-on-one talk. And like always, let's have that conversation.